what we're doing is we're aiming to create a decentralized music ecosystem. And for those that are following the project, you know that we've already started with our essentially our proof of concept with fractionalization of IP rights specifically pertaining to streaming royalty income right now. And that's the first thing that we actually launched. And it's, to me, it's a paradigm shift. And Patrick, you said it. I think NFTs excite me, and fungibles, like we all know in Cardano, it's all native assets. But they excite me personally because of the amount of different business models they're going to facilitate, for both artists and fans. And a lot of times in the music industry, um, musicians are not lawyers, nor are they business people, and they don't necessarily understand or even care to, because they just want to make music. They don't care to really understand. Okay, I signed this agreement. All I know is I get money, I can live, and then I can just make music. And they don't necessarily know what they're signing. All the things. And then with NFTs, and tokenization of assets, I think we're seeing a shift of, it's almost like giving fire to mankind, except it's making it to where an average everyday person can all of a sudden participate in all these I call them fun, these fun different financial tools and models of how to connect with an artist and how to invest, if they, outside of just buying merchandise, right? So that's kind of where I think we're going. So in my future world, I see a place where music is self-hosted, or it's decentralized, the hosting, and it's decentralized for the commerce, and then also the royalties and who owns what, and all of the different pieces of the puzzle, which as of today, they take in the United States 3 entities to responsibly track and pay out things. But every country has their own legal entity that's responsible for tracking where money is supposed to go to, and to whom owns what. And a lot of it's based off of human error. Well, with blockchain and through NFTs, we're able to, from the beginning of conception, say, hey, this is where everything lives. This is who owns what. This is how we can follow this, and it doesn't take a middleman, right? So that's basically the big spiel. But with what we did with you guys, it's super fun. There's our whole goal is to give artists different ways to connect with their fans, and that can be of various different things. And so with what we did with you guys is we partnered, and we have the record store, which is a place for people to come, and as a musician, I can say, hey, I want to create some scarcity, and I want to only release 100 copies of this single, or I want to go have some merchandise that's specifically related to this, and they can do that through the store, through the record store here. And what's really cool is that this week on Friday, we have an artist named Mike Lehrman, who is releasing a single on the record store. He's also fractionalizing and distributing that single to streaming platforms. So there's going to be, we're actually doing 3 separate things to one piece of music. So we're going, hey, you're distributing your music to all the regular places, but you're doing it through Web3 first. We're fractionalizing ownership, and we're allowing him to do scarcity and do a serialized release all at the same time. And that's so cool. That's 3 separate products. And that means also 2 different types of products that the consumer can actually choose to partake in. So that to me is super cool. And that's going to help fund him, and that's going to give fans more value packed than just, oh, I bought a CD in the 90s. I can listen to this like 10,000 times, but that's all I get. Right. And without getting too much into the weeds, from a post marketing and targeting your audience and having direct connection with them, exactly which wallet address holds these fungibles or non-fungibles. So you can directly token gate access to special events, or airdrop specific things to those people. You cannot Like you can't do that in the traditional system. This is truly going to change the game. So that's kind of where I'm living with this, and this is just the beginning. This is just streaming royalties for us right now, and this is just serialized releases. We haven't gotten into mechanical rights. We haven't gotten into terrestrial, to sync, to master rights. All of those have much more, quote, perceived value. And so I see a world where musicians token gate access and say, hey, you want to own part of my master? You got to have piece of ownership of all these other types of IP to get access to unlock the next level of ownership. And that can start by buying my serialized single to get access to be able to get to the IP streaming tokens, to get access to, and you can see this, how this is going to start to evolve. And now you're going to have real fans as opposed to just consumer fans, right? And that to me is just so cool. That's going to create this tiered level of, you get to be as dug in and as gung-ho about this artist as you want to be. And the farther you go, the more equivalent it becomes. Their success is equated to your success potentially too, maybe, you know? So there's an entire world where that lives. And I'm ready for the day when I don't need a distributor, I don't need a publisher, and I don't need a label if I so choose, right? That's what I want. I want choice. And I want both of those choices. If you choose to go the traditional route, or if you choose to go to the independent route, I want both of those choices to still be a viable option, to where I can do just my art and not have to do something supplemental because I chose not to, maybe, quote, fit into the traditional narrative of what that label or what that industry thinks is going to sell right now, you know? So that's my spiel.
Ryan, you're making me extremely excited.
Yeah.
I mean, this is incredible. Victor, what do you have to say?
I mean, that's NEWM. Sorry, yeah, NEWM is like one of the projects I'm most bullish on. I tweet about you guys all the time. One of the most utility projects you guys have. I mean, I can definitely see the vision that you guys have there, and you guys are already doing it. You know, so it's just that it's baby stage, just like we talked about earlier. NMKR is still just barely walking. You guys are just maybe 1 year younger than us. You know, and then like we're just working together to just make this beautiful thing that's going to be amazing.
I'm so excited because of the product that we've all launched together. Look, me personally, as an artist, serialized releases are not my thing. They're just not, and I've always been upfront with that. However, that doesn't diminish the fact that there's an appetite for it, and there's an appetite both from the consumer side and from artists. Certain artists really like to go that route. You know what? That's fine, because like we said, at the end of the day, it's all about choice, and
Exactly.
and that to me is the beauty of it. And this is offering that choice. So I just think that's really cool. And I heard you say this earlier, Patrick, about the subscription and token subscriptions and whatnot. And I think that's also going to change the game too. So that's it's all coming together slowly but surely. And I don't know about you guys. What do you think about this? I do have a question. For me, I find that part of my job is it's to paint a vision, but then it's also to help people to adjust expectations, because I think so many times people in the crypto space are like, they see the future of the tech, but they don't, it doesn't, I don't know, I don't think it necessarily makes sense in their brain that, wait, okay, here's the future, but that future is years away, or it's 3 years away. It's not 3 months away for certain things. Like for us, because a lot of this, there's a lot of legal imprecedents and the entrenchment of the traditional systems that have no impetus to embrace this without a really good B2B. Oh, this makes sense from a business standpoint, so let's let it live. You know what I mean? So that's where I feel like, for me, there's a balancing act in the crypto space. What do you guys think about that?
I completely agree. I mean, that's exactly the difficulty that we have. We want to have perfect user experience. We want to be able to onboard people. We want to be able to launch millions of NFTs in seconds. But some of this kind of stuff is not possible right now, and we always have to push the technical boundaries, but also manage expectations and kind of balance all these different things out. But that in the end, the opportunity that crypto presents is bigger than anything that we any obstacles that we are facing. And also to get back to NEWM, the one thing that really excites me about NEWM is actually not the project, it's not the music, it's the team. Because for real, I've met so many people in the team now, and I work very closely with many of the people also for the record store release, of course, and especially Florian. I mean, I have a call with Florian every week, and they're all so passionate. You will not find another team in crypto that is as passionate as the Project NEWM team. Maybe NMKR, but besides NMKR, there's no other team, and that's really exciting because that really shows me, okay, your team believes in this vision, and your team is willing to do whatever it takes to make this vision come true. And I'm all there for it, and I'm very excited for what we're building together with the record store. Collectibles for musicians play a very important role. And I think this partnership is only the beginning. It's only one thing that we're releasing now, and this will only grow over time, equally as the record store. Of course, like what we launched has very limited features. It doesn't look perfect yet, and all this kind of stuff. But as we've seen previously, and I think, Ryan, you were in a call at that time, but we've seen like a roadmap from FIME of where the stores are going, and it's going to be amazing. And it's only the first step that we've taken, and it's about shipping things, giving it to the community, hearing what the community has to say, and iterating, and releasing, and so on. So I'm very excited. I talked
I'm with you on that, and knowing where we're going with the record store, and then also knowing where we're going with the release of our artist portal and subsequent market for the streaming royalty tokens, because those have to look different. It's a different type of marketplace, right? Than put something up for sale. It's going to have to look different, and we're going to have to facilitate bundle things and all the stuff. Knowing how that's going to integrate with this, I'm just so excited because it's going to create this suite of tools for people to use. And that to me is just we're empowering people. That's what it is. Like Nito sold out, right? Like he sold out his collection in less than 24 hours. And then what people don't realize too is that, look, you said it, but this marketplace, it's an aggregator. We will always have more products, more music products than any other marketplace on Cardano, because that is what we do. That's what it's there for. It is strictly for music. That to me that's a powerful narrative. And then you have musicians that are driving traffic to it. I can tell you our marketing team was just like floored because of the engagement metrics for this month based off of everything going on with the marketplace, with the record store. I don't want to call it a marketplace. I'm going to call it the record store. Everybody knows it's a record store. Right. It's not just a marketplace. That's we don't do JPEGs and stuff there. It's a music place. It's a place to go and find your music. To me, things are going to come alive, and I'm really, really excited about Q2 and Q3, like, because like for us, alpha, internal, and then beta testers. I can tell you, anybody that I've shown, a couple of musicians that I've shown what their artist portal is going to look like when they interact with this, and how they without talking to us can go and distribute their music, and then choose who owns what, choose how much they want to sell. They literally went, holy, this is amazing, like knowing that's coming, and then knowing they can go and have a curated marketplace that they're not going to find crap. They're gonna find this is curated music. We put our stamp of approval on it through Jimmy, right, with Six City. That's quality control, coupled with everybody gets to it's open for people to use, right? So that's to me, that's a really cool balance. And I think I don't know, one of our ethoses at NEWM is decentralization for decentralization's sake is not a good excuse. Everything we do is open source. We know that we want to eventually decentralize everything. However, we're not going to do that to the detriment of the end user experience, right? And I think both InMaker and NEWM, I think one of the things we're both in agreement on and alignment on is that our target audience is not crypto people. Our target audience is mass adoption and the non-crypto folk, right? And there is a forward-facing consumer product that we have to keep in mind of everything that we do. And so, that to me is, I think, part of the key to success in this space. And I think that's one of the reasons why I feel I'm a little biased, but I do feel pretty confident in our ability to deliver, because we do, right? We have a track record. We put out good stuff and it works. And same goes for you guys. And that's why I think, it's really cool that we connected 3 years ago. And here we are now, which that is just, there's a lot of life has happened since then. So it's kind of flown by. So I'm super proud of you guys. So Patrick, I can always appreciate how much hard work you do and how much crap you put up with. And you still keep on doing it. I mean, I remember you weren't even finished with school yet. And you were, it was part of your research project. That's
crazy. Unbelievable. I can't imagine. So much stuff has happened. Pritesh is married. We're here. It's so much. My mind is blown.
I know. And we met for the first time just this past year at CNFTCon in Vegas. So
unbelievable.
It's amazing.
Actually, Ryan, do you know how big the largest music marketplace on Ethereum is? Because I feel like if we could reach that size probably very quickly with the record store.
We will. And here's the thing.
We should watch that statistic.
We should. And I will tell you, at least on ETH, actually there is, to my knowledge, there is a company that they have an app. It's a bad user experience, but
Audience?
Yeah, there you
go.
No,
sucks. Sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
It wasn't. I I was like this just sounds cool, but when you like mess with it, I was like, this is not it. Like
it's not it.
Yeah.
Like this is not the way. So to your answer, there actually isn't a dedicated music marketplace on ETH, and so that you have the OpenSeas, but that's it, and that's a whole Pandora's box to unpack that we don't have time to right now, right? So I truly believe that, I know you with gaming, but I really believe music is going to be one of the things that drives mass adoption for the use case for Cardano. I am a firm believer that that's going to be the case. And the appetite's there from the artists and musicians, and people forget that the commercialization of music, and people, when I say commercialized music, people go, what do you mean? Whenever you listen to music on the radio and you see people joke, they go, that sounds kind of similar. It kind of sounds the same. Or people joke and say, it's the same 4 chords. Well, here's how this works. Labels / the industry, when I mean the industry, I mean like the big 3, right? Warner, Sony, Universal, they have algorithms that tell them, okay, we have these artists that are in these genres. Here's their sales metrics. Okay, we know this works. So if we're going to be filling our roster like a team, right? And we know this artist is the life cycle for an artist is 7 years. If they haven't peaked, whatever their numbers are at the end of 7 years, typically that's where they peak, and at that point they coast out of obscurity. But basically they go, okay, well that worked. Well, so we know this works, then we're gonna make sure we get somebody to fill that slot again. And typically what that means is that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of, oh, well, people they listen to this a lot, so we're just going to keep creating more music that sounds like this because we know it gets listened, right? And so that's how you've kind of had this systematic diminishment of quality of music on a lot of things. And so, that there is an appetite for artists to want to not have to fit the mold. They don't want to have to, quote, sell their soul to make a buck. And by sell their soul, they mean sacrifice their musical ideas to be able to fit the commercial fingerprint of, oh, it's really nothing about your music. the music is the last thing in the equation that makes money. It's the merchandise and tours, which is mind-bogglingly, like, it's like, that's bizarre if you think about it. Like, it's the music industry, not the entertainment industry, that happens to do music, right? And so we're going to be able to see a paradigm shift back to the art through NFTs and fundables. I'm a firm believer that's going to happen. So, just as a spiel.
Yeah, it's a real way to, like, the way you guys are doing it, it's a way to elevate these artists, through funding, and bring them to the light, and like just have a real fan base. Because yeah, these underground artists, they're kind of, like you said, reliant on these studios to really make a living. But if they can really get their fans to get behind them, and have like a system where everyone benefits, I think it's a great way to go at it.
One of our ambassadors, Mikey, with Abyss Beats, he said it best. He said, "Do you realize when you choose to purchase streaming royalty income, stream tokens, that is so much more personal than buying my CD?" He was like, "That's you showing me that you believe in me, not just that one piece of music." He was like, "That's so much more personal. And for me as an artist, I feel so much more beholden to you to live up to that." And people, when people get it, when consumers get what that product actually is and what that looks like, that's going to be a light bulb moment. And it's our job as NEWM to help make that in basically a consumable bite-sized chunk of, oh, this is what this is, right? There's that educational component to it. And I think with our marketing team, we can do that in spades, but that's a part of the equation. And I think anybody in the crypto space, you have to understand that you have to educate people, and it's not by giving them a lot of information. It's about giving it to them in bite sizes that they can understand and relate to. And I think that's a key to success in just this new industry that we're finding ourselves in, So I'm going to stop talking now, because I've spoken a lot. But again, happy birthday. This is so awesome.
It is, and you're very good at talking, so I always like listening. But yeah, I also don't want to have you sit in your car for much longer. I think you should probably drive home at this point. But yeah, Ryan, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for going on this journey with us together. I'm extremely excited for the record store and where we're headed. And I think, let's onboard the next million users to Cardano. It's time.
Yeah.
Well, I always say this, and I think you agree. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Very poetic.
I leave you both with that. For all the NMKR fam, I'm happy to be a part of it. This is awesome. Patrick, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do in the coming months. I think it's going to be really important for the space. And thank you. So happy birthday, guys.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Cool. That was very cool.
Yeah, Ryan's great, man, and I have so many questions for him too, because I mentioned to you, I have a few artist friends who I don't know. I'm not like an expert in NEWM, so when I try to explain like the royalties and stuff, I'd love to pick Ryan's brain a bit more to kind of explain to them, and like you said, in bite-sized pieces so they can understand it better. Yeah, and these are independent artists that are they're trying to make something of themselves. So, and they're very hesitant from what I've told them, because people are just so untrusting of like technology, and like this whole like NFT is such a bad rap, and as soon as they hear NFT, they're just like, I don't know about that, and they start thinking about monkey pics and stuff like that. So
yeah, I agree. I think maybe we should do more with Ryan, have like a Twitter space or so where you can ask him all the questions, and in general, he's living this like music tokenization life. So he knows everything. It's crazy. And it's like us, if I could talk about NMKR for like hours and hours and hours, but for him, it's the same with music and tokenization and streaming rights and all this kind of stuff. And it's like a whole new world for some of us. So it's huge.